You're saying, Your Honor, you're saying this is a criminal matter?
Yes.
Okay, well then we need the corpus delicti. You have the identification of the person, which is me, but you don't have a person saying that they were hurt or damaged, or the crime that's saying what I did to hurt or damage the person. So how do you have a crime?
You went to law school?
No, Your Honor, I have not.
You're in a whole different ball game, and you need to come on.
Judge Perkins is presiding, and he's not here to entertain nonsense. Sitting across from him, a man who clearly woke up and decided the law just doesn't apply to him. That's right, we've got another self-proclaimed sovereign citizen. On our hands? Well, Judge Perkins isn't buying a second of it. He delivers a shutdown so brutal, you'd think he was flunking someone out of fake law school. Our guy struts in like a legal expert, armed with nothing but confidence and a YouTube playlist full of conspiracy theories. If you were the judge, how would you handle this kind of courtroom circus? Drop your verdict in the comments, and now, let's dive into the footage and watch Judge Perkins expertly dismantle this legal delusion, piece by piece.
I'm going to give you a $0 bond. And I'll recall it once. What is your motion, sir?
I have a motion to strike and dismiss.
What are the bases?
Basis of federal rules of civil procedure. Number one, there's no claim. There's no ratification of the claim.
There is a claim. There is a. You want me to read out I waived the reading of the information. You want me to read the allegations that have been made into the record? Do you need me to do that?
No, I don't. No, I don't, Your Honor.
I deny your motion on that basis. What else do you have to say? What else?
You deny my motion because of what, Your Honor?
Yes.
There is no real.
I denied your motion because there is a and this is criminal procedure, not civil procedure. But I denied your motion because there is an allegation here.
You're saying, Your Honor, you're saying this is a criminal matter?
Yes.
Okay, well then we need the corpus delicti. And so that's what I'm asking for. If there was a criminal matter, basically what you're telling me is that something has happened, someone has either been damaged or someone has been or either someone has been damaged or someone has something has been come up missing. And if that's the case, then that means that there is a crime. And if there's a crime, then there is the what do you have that's saying that I did the crime? What you're saying that I created this crime that hurt this person, and if I hurt this person and I created the crime, then a third thing that you have to have is the identification of the person. You have the identification of the person, which is me, but you don't have a person saying that they were hurt or damaged, or the crime that's saying what I did to hurt or damage the person. So how do you have a crime?
Okay. You went to law school?
No, Your Honor, I have not.
And where did you get that? Where did you get that from? Where did you learn all that?
I've been studying for quite some time, trying to understand what's going on. I have a different perspective as to what's being said that happened. I'm understanding more necessary for a crime to go for them to bring a crime forward. I'm understanding that a bit more.
And where did you get that understanding?
I've done some Cornell law studies. I've also sat down with a couple of friends who have had some issues. I picked up wherever I could, just started to study the law, just started to go back through Cornell law, started to figure out what was going on and to understand the nature of how what a crime is and everything else. So just a course of me searching it out.
And you're citing Cornell law for all of that you just said to the court?
No, what I did, Your Honor, was I realized that one of the biggest portions that you have to have is you have to have the corpus delicti.
I'm seriously loving Judge Perkins' energy, in this case, cool.com, and absolutely unbothered. The man's handling this sovereign citizen like he's swatting a fly, not dealing with someone trying to freestyle a new version of the Constitution on the spot. Meanwhile, defendant is out here quoting random snippets from Cornell Law-like. He's hosting a TED Talk in delusion. Come on, bro. Judge Perkins has been practicing law longer than you've probably had a driver's license. Maybe don't try to teach the master. Watching this unfold is like someone arguing with a chef about how to make toast, text they don't even know how to boil water. Cringe doesn't begin to cover it. The confidence this guy has while being so completely wrong. Unreal. At this point, sovereign citizenship feels less like a fringe legal theory and more like a full-blown fantasy novel. But what do you all think? Is this just entitlement dialed up to 11? Or is there something deeper going on here? Sound off in the comments.
What do you mean, what is the corpus delicti?
What is your understanding of what corpus delicti is?
That is the corpus delicti is the law that's saying that there is a crime that's being committed. So in order to do that, you have to show the corpus delicti, which is you saying this is what happened. This is how this person was damaged.
So,
there is
so
no
the
person.
Officer on this day, on these dates, because I got a lot of them, said that
I
you
object.
drove.
I object. The officer works.
Don't interrupt me.
I apologize, Your Honor. I apologize, Your Honor. My apologies.
The officer says that you drove a vehicle that wasn't registered and wasn't titled, or titled and or untitled, that you drove without a valid driver's license, that you drove without valid insurance. Again, on a different occasion, they allege that you drove without a valid driver's license and no insurance. And then on a different occasion, they allege that you drove without unregistered or untitled or both, and drove without a valid driver's license, repeat offender, that you failed to have a trailer plate, and that you failed to secure a load on your vehicle. And on another occasion, on the same occasion that you failed to secure, that they allege you failed to secure the load, failed to have a trailer plate on your vehicle, that you didn't provide a valid driver's license. So those are the crimes. And in state of Michigan, whether you agree or not, they are crimes. So based on your motion and all of that stuff you talk about, corpus delicti and things like that, the court denies the motion. Okay, based on those reasons that I just said. Now, how do you want to move forward? Because wait a minute, I'm not finished.
My apologies, Your Honor.
How do you want to move forward? Because in my experience, someone that comes into court, as you do, you do not want to take an offer. You do not believe that you need to have plates or registration or insurance. And you just disregard all of that portion of the law, and either you are going to move forward by having a trial, or you're going to take a deal. What do you want to do, sir?
Your Honor, first I want to put my objection on the record. And at that point,
whatever your objection is noted. What do you want to do, sir? Do you want a trial? You have two options: trial, or you want to take a deal.
Your Honor, I request a jury trial.
A jury trial.
A jury trial, yes, Your Honor.
Very good.
This guy seriously thinks he's going to get a jury trial for running 3 stop signs and driving without a license. Like that's some kind of high-stakes case full of reasonable doubt. What does he expect? Huh? Room full of strangers to nod and say, yeah, totally normal behavior. Let him walk. Jury trials are for serious charges felonies, major lawsuits, actual stakes. Not for traffic tickets wrapped in sovereign. Citizen fan fiction. He's out here turning traffic court into a full-blown legal drama. Like he's auditioning for Law & Order, Delusional Intent, when really, he's just the lead in Clueless. Highway Edition, the audacity is next level. He genuinely thinks he can outmaneuver a seasoned judge with a few YouTube rabbit holes under his belt. Like, bro, ... this isn't Hogwarts. You don't get to wave your hand and say, asterisk, dismissio, taquitas. Asterisk, so what do you think? Is this peak delusion or just an Olympic-level display of entitlement?
That and you basically did allege the same thing, that no crime has been committed because no person has been, the people of the state of Michigan are in danger of you driving without the proper documentation or anything like that. But I don't, and I'm gonna surmise, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that you're gonna say that there's no jurisdiction to be able to pull you over because no one has been injured. Is that correct?
I think that what I'm saying is that the city of Detroit had an officer pull me over to say that you're not following these rules. And my stance is, okay, well, then that's fine. If we're following rules, then therefore, let me make sure that you as well as are following the rules, because if I don't do that, then freedoms are lost. So that is in which, that is the way that I proceed, to say, okay, well then, if we're playing cards and we playing show me yours, if this is your hand, then this is mine, and let's proceed accordingly to the law. That's it. That's my only standing is, if someone doesn't stand up every once in a while and define the edges, then they all disintegrate and people lose rights.
And you know something? With that being said, I would agree with you 1,000%. That's why I pride myself, and I hope I'm doing a good job for the citizens that come in here, and the police for that matter, and the prosecution, that I am calling the balls and strikes right. And if something doesn't proceed as it should, then I will dismiss the case one way or the other. But in my short time on this bench, and in my time at practicing law as a defense attorney, I get this, they can't pull me over. I've heard the corpus delicti, first time the civil procedure has been thrown at me. But from the way I see it, is that you just don't feel that the police have a jurisdiction to pull you over for these issues. Is that correct?
Do I have again, Your Honor, what I feel is that if we are following rules.
I don't mean to cut this defendant off, but I have to jump in here because what Judge Perkins just said. Absolute facts. This man genuinely believes the cop had no jurisdiction to pull him over. Like public roads are some kind of Wild West, where laws just don't apply. Newsflash, that's not how any of this works. My guy, he's dodging basic questions like it's a dodgeball tournament. But the reality is, simple. If you're on public roads, you follow public rules. This is an asterisk sovereign citizen fantasy island. Asterisk, it's just common sense. Honestly, if he had just owned up and admitted he messed up, this whole disaster would be way less painful to watch. But no, he's out here acting like he's royalty on the freeway, immune to laws and logic. Can someone please explain what's going through this man's head? Because I'm lost. And with a jury trial scheduled for March 2025, good luck. With that, there's no way a jury's going to co-sign this sovereign citizen storyline. The laws he's quoting don't even apply, and the whole "I don't have to follow traffic laws" bit, that's been debunked 1,000 times. Here's the truth. Traffic laws are state laws. If you're driving on public roads, you're playing by the state's rules. Period. What really gets me is how confidently wrong he is. Walking into court like he's a legal mastermind, when it's crystal clear he's just parroting Reddit threads and YouTube rants. Meanwhile, shout out to Judge Perkins for keeping it cool while this guy gives a TED Talk on nonsense. Let's be real, he could have just paid the ticket and moved on. But instead, he's staring down a full jury trial and likely the max penalty. His defense is a disaster, and unless he hires a real lawyer ASAP, this man is cooked. Let me know in the comments. Do you think he's just clueless, or is he playing dumb on purpose? Either way, I think he's deep in the sovereign citizen sauce.
Gray and Mr. Bowman, Mr. Bowman, I need you to have all your officers appear on that date. Who's ever going to state these allegations, so that we know that we're not just summoning the people of the city of Detroit to a jury that's not actually going to go. So all parties must appear, and that can be via Zoom. And the trial is going to be in person. All right. All parties must appear on final pretrial date and obviously on the trial date. And what I would implore you to do is you need to figure out the right game, because it doesn't sound like you're playing the right game.
I understand, Your Honor. I appreciate, first and foremost, let me say, I appreciate the dialogue. I appreciate you sitting here and engaging with me at this level. So I recognize what you're saying, and so I guess it's to the table we go. So
yeah, but get your game in order, because I'm just giving you a little heads up. If you come in with that game on the jury trial date, then more than likely you'll lose, unless you can find one of those jurors or a couple of those jurors, or even all of them, to have some sympathy for you, sir. I don't know.
I got a whole basis for understanding, and so yeah, if you know it
that basis that you outlined shortly today is not.
What was flawed in my what was flawed, Your Honor? What is flawed in my?
We already discussed it. The federal rules of civil procedure that you brought up as a motion to dismiss, not the right basis. The corpus delicti, they do have a corpus delicti. They do have a crime that they say has been committed. And if you read the MCL, the Michigan court rules, and the Michigan statutes, then you'll see those crimes outlined there. They have them on the tickets. They got the statute numbers that are on the tickets. So that's not the right basis. So you're in a whole different ball game, and you need to come on to this ball game here.
Okay. All right. Okay.